Hey guys, I'm Kaluna, and welcome back to Screenshots. The holidays are upon us, and you know what that means. It's time for another Rankin Bass classic. No, not that one. Or that one. Or that one. That one. This week, we're taking a look at one of the lesser-known Rankin Bass specials, The Life and Adventures of Santa Claus, or as I like to call it, A Very Tolkien Christmas. This movie is based on the book written in 1905 by L. Frank Baum, the writer of the Wizard of Oz books. And yes, there was more than one. This story is a, well, rather interesting origin story for Santa Claus, because sometimes it feels more like we're in Narnia or Middle-earth rather than the North Pole. And yes, I know that Santa was in Narnia, but just trust me on this. You'll see what I mean. This is The Life and Adventures of Santa Claus. Looks like the beginning of a Rankin Bass holiday special. There's Santa, his sleigh, his reindeer, singing. Hang on, where are we? How many ages are we talking? Middle? Dark? Enlightenment? We, apparently join a meeting of immortal spirits, introduced by a weird elf-looking guy who makes laser noises when he walks for some reason. This is Tingler, a sound imp, whose sole purpose in this movie is to speak random languages at the wrong time and add what I assume the creators wanted to be comic relief. It doesn't work. I feel like someone just wanted an excuse to test out their Michael Winslow impression. The leader of the forest, Ak, who looks more than a little like one of Tolkien's wizards, has summoned the leaders of the different immortal factions. Hey, wait a minute! He requests that they make Santa Claus immortal because of his selfless acts. To convince them, Ak begins to tell the story of how Santa Claus became who he is, literally from birth. The power of flashback takes us back 60 years to show a baby being found in the snow by Ak. Ak, feeling bad for the child, entrusts him to the care of a lion named Shiegra, which doesn't sound like a bad idea at all. He tells the story to the wood nymphs, and one of them, Necile, becomes very curious about the baby.
As immortals will always be, and you know nothing of children because there are none among us.
And there will never be. It is so decreed by our laws.
Born in a present state.
Oh, okay, this seems like a totally appropriate time for a song. Right. Necile goes to take a look at the child and decides, I want to have a singing moment. After imagining what the baby would be like when it is literally right in front of her. Seriously? She takes the baby from the lion, again, great idea, and goes back to Ak.
I have broken the law of the forest, but please, let me keep the man-child.
That must have meant something totally different in 1985. All things considered, Ak seems pretty cool with this. The lion is pretty protective though, and she follows Necile back to Ak as well. Ak decrees that Necile and Shiegra can raise the Cabbage Patch Kid looking baby. They name him Claus because that means little one in made-up fairy language. And now, it's time for a montage. As young Claus grows, we see little vignettes of him interacting with the various people and creatures of the forest, like a cheetah and an elephant. You know, forest wildlife. After he has turned from actual Cabbage Patch Kid to adolescent, we can get on with the story. Apparently, Necile really didn't do her homework on how this whole growing up thing works, and is surprised to find out that her son is going off on his own to make a life for himself. Thankfully for us, good old Ak plans to go along with him to show him around rather than just kick him into the deep end of the pool of humanity to drown. But first, a tearful farewell. After spending more time explaining what the English word mother means, more than any of the other fairy nonsense they've thrown at us so far, Claus and Necile bid each other goodbye.
Mother?
And so, Ak decides to take Claus around the world to show him what mortals are like, which you think he would have done already, but alright. Hey Ak! He is mortal! You're in space! There is no air will travel through space. It is the fastest route. But there's no air in space. It matters not for me. I am an immortal. I do not need to breathe. I do. You always make things so difficult. Fine, I'll use magic or something. Apparently, Claus manages the whole no atmosphere thing, and they land in the first bastion of the mortal world that Claus has ever seen. Invisible to the mortals thanks to Axe magic, he watches some poor laborers being overworked and mistreated by the soldiers. Later, he sees the rich family who own all the land dining happily, the father super proud of his blatant evilness.
Soon they'll start dreaming of another kind of life. And that would be the end of all this. We can't afford that now, can we?
Nice gray areas there. Next you're going to be calling him Lord Moneybags McBadguy. From here, Ack forces Claus to endure a few more trips through space in order to hammer his point home, with the help of some, questionable ethnic stereotypes that life among mortals isn't all that great. Claus is also introduced to the fact that mortals often go to war over causes, though those causes aren't always good. Man, really dropping the heavy stuff there, movie. This is setting up Claus's need to help others and bring happiness to them. Ack tells him to follow his star, though for funsies you could just take the second star to the right. And Claus decides he is going to live among the mortals and do what he can to help them. He says goodbye to Necile, who has a bit of a hard time with her grief. Wrong eye there, sweetie.
Now put it on the lid. No, the lid. 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 The lid.
Shiegra and Tingler go with Claus and decide to make camp in the Laughing Valley of Ho Ha Ho. I know. Apparently, in addition to an ever-present chorus of laughing that would make this place completely impossible to live in, it's always snowing. Claus fades a crappy-looking shack into existence where he and his companions can stay the night. While they sleep, a much better house is magically built for them overnight, right next to where they've been sleeping. Convenient! We have another montage of Claus getting a little older, and him spending time with mortals, in particular children. Now a grown man, having gotten a cute little kitty named Blinky from Necile, Claus finds a little boy in the snow outside his house and helps him inside to get warm.
Hello, where am I?
Don't be afraid, little one. You're with friends.
Nice delivery there, kid. And way to sound creepy, Claus. The kid's name is Weekum. And he's kind of an idiot.
Tell us where you live.
In a place for kids who don't have mothers and fathers or anyone else to take care of them.
Ah, I see you seem to be suffering from Disney movie syndrome. Sucks to be you. Claus makes a wooden cat for Weekum to play with, creating the very first toy. Better than the sticks and dirt and dysentery they're used to playing with anyway. Weekum shows it off to his friends, who decide they all want one and proceed to break out into song.
A little black cat with a big blue bow. A funny little cat sitting in the snow. A silly little cat with a great big smile. Could we have one for just a little while?
It's the hard knock life for us. It's the hard knock life for us. Static treated, we get drinks. Static says we get drinks. It's the hard knock life.
Seeing this, Claus decides to make toys for mortal children all over the world, which looks to be going great until some dick throws a rock through his window.
Rude.
It turns out that the rock is tied to a message from someone named King Agua, threatening to come after Claus if he keeps making toys.
Who is King Agua?
Shiegra's not a fan. Tingler, after making more annoying noises, tells us that the Aguas influence children into behaving badly and can be found in their caves up in the Rocky Mountains.
A little more information, if you please, in Burzee talk.
Tingler, in an effort to try and give us some useful information for once, instead gives us this creepy gem.
It's said that they can make themselves invisible. Good night.
Enjoy your nightmares. Anyway, Claus decides to continue with business as usual, despite the threat of invisible monsters that want to kill him, because ignoring your problems always works out. Speaking of which, it's time to meet them. This spiky-faced charmer is King Agua, who is very displeased that someone would dare to do good things for kids. I wonder if he's ever met Mr. McBadguy. The Aguas kidnap Claus and have a snake and really big spider stand guard. Though not very well, because he calls out for help and they immediately retreat once they see something coming, letting him walk right out.
We cannot capture this toy maker easily, for he has friends among the immortals.
The Aguas attack Claus when he tries to bring the toys to the kids, using brute force that you think wouldn't be necessary because they're invisible. Claus says they need to find a way to defend themselves against the Aguas, which is kind of funny, because not a minute later, via jump cut, he tells us that the Aguas have stopped them 12 times.
We must find a way to defend ourselves against these invisible foes. I won't be defeated so easily the next time. The Aguas have stolen the toys each and every time I've gone into the village. Counting yesterday, it makes 12 attacks. We must plan some type of defense.
So Claus decides to try one more time at night, but the Aguas still try to stop him. Shiregard decides now is the time to be a frickin' lion and attack them. Circle of life, motherfucker! Ack goes to the Aguas and tells them to stop it. They say no, big surprise, and Ack tells them that they are going to fight.
We will do as we please with this Claus.
You shall not harm my friend.
Oh. Ack then takes out his silver axe, to show that he really means business. Oh, cool. He gets an axe. I wonder what other sorts of weaponry the fairies and nymphs have.
Behold, they fight with tree branches. I will overwhelm them with our evil powers.
Okay, the bad guys might be a bit arrogant, but let's be real here. An army of fairies with sticks? That just sounds like a bad LARP. Well, it seems the Aguas were outsourcing the position of bitchin' dragon to Mushu over here. I don't know where this movie takes place exactly, but no matter where it is, an Eastern-style dragon doesn't quite look at home here. Either way, he takes the chance to try out his flamethrower attack on the fairies. Okay, let's see just what these sticks can do. Jesus Christ! Well, okay then. You found my one weakness! Depth perception! Ah! Sharp sticks! My other weakness! We get it. Your magic sticks are serious business. Yeah! Go fly head first at the guy with an axe! Just be sure to stay out of arm's reach, and you'll be safe for sure. God damn it. Quick side note, the original story says that this flying monster is cut in twain with a flash of axe. I'm pretty sure this isn't what he meant, but I'll allow it. Lasers are cool.
It is the law that good shall overcome evil. Forward, immortals!
Might makes right. That's a healthy lesson for the kids. Ack and the others defeat the Aguas, allowing Claus to once more deliver his gifts to the children. Unfortunately, his sleigh is too heavy. In a fit of insight, he enlists the help of Peter Nook to get Reindeer to pull his sleigh. Not at all questioning the flying capabilities they have, but whatever, the kid was raised by fucking Mufasa and Arwen, so who cares? Peter tells Claus he can only rent them once a year, so he decides to do it on Christmas Eve. Thus begins some of the traditions associated with Santa Claus, going down the chimney, leaving presents in the stockings, and even the Christmas tree. Now we cut back to Ack, his story is over, and it's time to vote for your next American Idol. Oh, wait. Surprise, surprise, everyone agrees, and they bestow the mantle of immortality on Claus so he can continue to spread joy to children everywhere. He gets the added bonus of being old and fat for all eternity, but oh well. And with that, the movie ends rather abruptly, but assumably everyone lived Christmasly ever after. So yeah, this is a silly movie, but that's to be expected with the Rankin Bass films. The songs can be kind of weird, but overall it is a fun, charming movie that holds up mostly well, though it is very corny and you can tell it's directed to a younger audience. While I was looking for this movie, I came across an animated remake made in 2000. Yeah, you're not really missing much. The charm and corniness of the Rankin Bass movie, whether as a result of the stop motion, the music, or the original story components, is still fun and enjoyable, even as just a silly movie. The 2000 version, however, is just lazy, not funny, and makes some very weird choices. One thing that's unique to the 2000 version that needs to be pointed out, however, is how they end up coming up with Santa's name.
What's his name?
Well, he hasn't got one yet, but in our ancient language, Claus means little one.
So, Nasile's little one would be something like Nasilo Claus.
Nasilo Claus? Whoa, poor kid.
Ugh, that is stupid! Come on, really? Okay, fine, that is stupid too. I'll give you that, but that's also in the 2000 version, so whatever. Overall, although it does show its age here and there, and it does exist in the shadow of the more popular Rankin Bass films, The Life and Adventures of Santa Claus is a perfectly fine holiday movie for everyone to enjoy. There are some enjoyably silly moments speckled throughout, but overall it's still a fun movie. I won't make any excuses for Tingler, though. I can't really help you there.
Listen. Atención. Ata. Ascolta. Malvagio. Mauvais. Dangereux. Schlecht. Malo. Bad. Bad news.
Oh my god, shut up! I'm Kaluna. Thanks for watching Screenshots. Tune in on Christmas Day to catch one more holiday video before the season is over. Happy holidays, and I'll see you next time.
Have a holly jolly Christmas. It's the best time of the year. I don't know if there'll be snow, but have an ice cold beer. Have a holly jolly Christmas. And when you walk down